First of all, thanks for all the attendees and delegates for this wonderful session today evening. Brijesh sir has given a wonderful speech, actually very contextual speech, how AI is disrupting the entire HR world, right? And for today's context, I think this is very more closer and very close to the topic. So what we do is today, as part of this session, even though today's session is more on HR related aspects, we have experts from SAP team who will talk about this subject. What we'll do is, before getting into this HR, we'll also talk about the holistic business suite solution from SAP, and we'll talk about this journey. So before we start this, let me introduce myself. I am Sudhakar P Venkatesan. I am the architect advisor from SAP India. We are part of a team called Solution Advisory Team. Initially, we were called as a pre-sales team. Now we are called as Solution Advisory Team. I am a chartered accountant and also a cost accountant. And this is my 21st year in SAP. I have been in various fields, like I was in SAP consulting earlier, doing implementation projects. Then I moved to SAP pre-sales team. And now I am doing architecture for SAP solutions, predominantly for government customers across the country, predominantly in west and southern part of the states. So most of these customers whom we see today, I have been working with them for the past 2 decades. Initially, I worked with them on ECC days, subsequently on S4HANA, and now we are on the business suite. So I have seen 3 generations of solutions of SAP over this period of 20 years, and this is my 21st year. What we'll do is, this is just a disclaimer. So first of all, thanks to the public sector community in India, over this period of 25 years, we have achieved a great success in India on the public sector side, and you have contributed a lot for this nation building activity across the country. You can see the various sectors. This is only an illustrative list. We could not cover the entire sectors what we have covered in public sector. We have covered almost all the major sectors in India, starting from the defense, state finance, urban local bodies, oil and gas, utilities, infrastructure, which is including ports, airports, metros, and this list is such a big list, we could not cover all the verticals within this list. So I have just put an illustrative list. First of all, thanks to the entire public sector community who has helped us to grow along with you over this decade of 25 years. Yeah? So before getting into especially on business suite, we will just talk about the journey of SAP over the period of 50 years. SAP started before 50 years in Germany, and it has now spread across 180 countries. So we have started this journey as early as 1972, when we had come out with SAP solution on R2, which is a mainframe solution. And we have grown across these 50 years. One of the major milestones in SAP's solution was SAP ERP ECC solution, which was introduced in 2004. Most of the customers, predominantly in the government sector, would be working on this solution. And now we are making our efforts to transform them into the latest versions of these solutions from this ECC version. This version is predominantly called as very robust version from the SAP's solution profile, right? So what was happening is, this particular ECC solution was catering to multiple databases. That's what the solution was working on, multiple databases. It was database independent. In 2011, we came out with our own HANA platform, because database independency was creating a lot of problems from SAP side. We have to make various compromises in the application because of this database independency. That's where we thought we'll come out with our own database, which is a HANA in-memory platform in 2011. And going forward, 2013, we came out with Suite on HANA. Like SAP was working on any other database, we declared that SAP will now work on HANA database also. So that was the first step we took in 2013 as Utanana. By this time, across the world, cloud became one of the major concepts. Most of the competition companies were also trying to get into the cloud and giving cloud offerings to the customers. So what we thought is we have to also give the cloud-based solutions to the customers. That's where we introduced HANA Enterprise Cloud as a deployment option for the customers. So customers were taking the on-premise solutions from licensed person. Now again, we have brought something as business suite in 2025. What is this new business suite that we have brought in? So what we'll do is today, we'll talk something about RISE because predominantly there is a demand from the audience in multiple cities wherever we have done these kind of sessions. They wanted to understand what is this RISE concept all about because predominant of the customers in today's world from ECC are working on ECC solutions. So they need to understand what is this RISE solution all about. So we'll talk about RISE solution first. And then we'll also get into something called as SAP Business Suite and understand those concepts before we getting into the HR related sessions. Yeah? So traditionally, whenever we talk about HR implementation, we used to have these verticals, right? We used to have a software that predominantly comes from SAP and support services comes from SAP, which we call this as an AMC. Infrastructure management, customer used to manage infrastructure with hardware partners, hardware vendors, that is being handled. Then there is something called as technical managed services because you have to manage the SAP from the technology perspective, security perspective, those used to be happen. And implementation used to happen with advisory services. And after implementation support will also happen called as application management services. These are the 5 verticals used to happen. The problem with this structure and architecture is each and every vertical customer has to spend time separately and he'll have a separate contract with each and every person. For software, he has to have a contract with SAP. For AMC, there's a separate contract. For infrastructure management, there will be a partner or there will be a hardware vendor with whom there is a contract. Technical managed services, service partner will be there. Implementation, SI will be there to implement, right? Because of this multiplicity of the contracts, there was a challenge from the customer side also. Not only the administrative related challenges, but there were challenges related to the commercial aspects. Because what was happening is, there used to be a CapEx outflow from software, there used to be a CapEx outflow from infrastructure management, and at the same time, there was a revenue outflows also. So this multiplicity of the outflows which were happening was quite cumbersome for the customers to manage this entire portfolio. That's where customers started demanding to have one comprehensive SaaS solution, software as a service, where all these verticals will be taken care by one vendor or one OEM. So that is how this concept was introduced. Based on this demand, what we have done is, we have come out with this RISE with SAP concept. The entire blue band, whatever you see, which includes software, support, infrastructure management, technical managed services, are all bundled by SAP under an umbrella called as RISE with SAP. Predominantly, we have clubbed all these things, and customers will enter into a contract with SAP, and SAP will manage all these things, and there are no CapEx or OpEx outflow separately. Annually, there will be a OpEx outflow only for all these services. So there is no initial license purchase happens here, no hardware purchase happens here, no separate maintenance for hardware happens here. Everything gets completely clubbed under one contract with SAP, the blue part of it, and SAP will take care of all these aspects: software, support, infrastructure, and technical managed services. And implementation you can still do with SAP, or implementation you can go with the ecosystem partners. Similarly, support you can do with one of the partners. So this was the concept we have introduced in RISE with SAP. Yeah? So what happens in RISE with SAP? You can see the various layers, right? You have to deploy the hardware infrastructure part, then you have operating system, then you have the database part of it, application part of it. And under RISE with SAP, all these layers are completely covered under SAP. So we are giving an SLA to the business at the system application availability to the end user, which is 99.7% SLA. This is the SLA SAP will guarantee to the customer and takes care of all these aspects from SAP side. So there is no problems from the customer perspective to tackle any of these layers individually and independently, and everything is managed by SAP, and SAP gives the SLA for these services together under the umbrella of RISE with SAP. Whenever we compare the on-premise, this is a comparison normally people do. What is the comparison of RISE with vis-a-vis the on-premise cost? There are various costs involved from the on-premise side, like virus scanning software or whatever different types of software you have to deploy, database software, all those things. So all these things are completely included under RISE with SAP in the OpEx cost that we are talking about. Various kinds of technical personnel required to manage the systems, right? DB administrators or server administrators, security administrators, all these services are managed by SAP under the umbrella of RISE with SAP. So there are no separate resources required, either from the customer side, or customer need not deploy a partner to manage all these services, because all these services are completely managed by SAP under the umbrella of RISE with SAP. Yeah? So from the date the RISE with SAP was introduced in 2021, we have been working with multiple public sector companies across the India, and this is the list of customers who have already adopted the RISE with SAP solution, and we have also given the list of customers who have already gone live on RISE. These may be the customers who are already on ECC solution, who went into S/4HANA on RISE, or the customers who are already on S/4HANA but who are on on-premise but migrated to RISE solution. Yeah, there are different typical customers. This is again the list of customers who are already contracted with SAP, but there are various other customers across India where the discussions are going on and this initiative is continuing. Okay? So you can see this customers list has some large customers in India whose users are like 5,000 users, 3,000 users, that kind of customers are also there. And we can see some small customers also where the list is like 100 users or 200 users, that kind of customers are also there in the list. Yeah? We have seen the list of customers who already migrated to RISE, but if you see under the umbrella of public sector, we have a lot of customers still on ECC side who need to get migrated onto the latest version, S/4HANA, and the latest version, like now we have come out with something called as Business Suite also. So we have list of customers who has to do this migration, and this list is very, very huge, because in India, SAP is the predominant software solution provider to the government customers across the verticals, across the territories of India. Whatever may be the sector we call within the public sector, whether it is like defense, or whether it is oil and gas, or utilities, or the core government customers from the state government perspective or the central government perspective, various departments in the central government, various departments in state governments. So this list is very huge, and we have a lot of customers who need to get into this migration and transformation journey. Any questions up to this, sir? If you have any questions, we can answer. Otherwise, we'll move on to the next session, which is SAP Business Suite. Yeah? So we spoke about Business Suite in traditional days, right? Now again, we have come out with the same concept of Business Suite. How this is different from what we spoke earlier? Yeah? That question arises to each and every one of us. Traditionally, this is the architecture you would have seen in various customers, right? This is only an illustrative architecture. This doesn't cover all the solutions, or this doesn't cover all the verticals of public sector, because public sector is one industry. Even though we call it as an industry, within that industry, we have multiple industries, right? Public sector has all the verticals, like whether we call it a dairy is there in public sector, right? Chemical industries, yes, chemical industries are in public sector. We have customers from RCF also. So whatever oil and gas, every sector is available in public sector as one dimension. So public sector is not an industry by itself. It is one highest level of hierarchy under which multiple industry verticals prevails, right? So this is one of the architecture we generally do. So this is a typical business suite architecture where we have the core ERP related modules, starting from finance, material management, maintenance, projects, sales and distribution, plant maintenance, and all those things. We used to have some analytics layer on top of it, database part of it, some of the integration aspects getting covered. This is a traditional, if you see this slide, you will feel this slide is complete. This slide has some 3 blocks, and I have put transactional systems at the bottom. Is this slide complete in its completeness? So whatever we showed in my earlier slide as a business suite architecture is only this portion what we showed, the transactional systems. So SAP introduced transactional systems. These are systems which are covering departments, processes across all the departments of the organization, starting from the day you do a planning in finance department till you finally take your finished product out from the production and sell it using sales and distribution, and again do a complete accounting and take your financial statements from your system. All these processes were completely covered. So that is what was happening in the transactional systems. So initially SAP introduced this as a transactional system, and subsequently it started adding various flavors. Industry flavor came into the picture because these processes cannot be same across industries. So we need to bring in an industry flavor, whether it is a chemical industry or a utility or oil and gas. We brought in an industry flavor into this architecture. That is step number 1. We brought in localization aspects into this processes, because processes cannot work independently. We need to have a localization aspect that needs to be covered into the solution, whether from taxation perspective or HR perspective. So we brought in localization aspects into these solutions. In India, this is very important because it touches almost every budget. We will have some changes coming out from localization, and we have to accommodate those changes both from the finance perspective, HR perspective, or any other angle. So we brought in localization flavor also into this. Then third, this solution cannot remain as an isolated solution. We have to extend the arms of the solution. So we extended it from customer side. We extended it from vendor side. Vendor side, it was called as SRM. Customer side, we brought in CRM. So we extended that part of the solution also. Right? Then we sought some kind of integrations are required because this system is not an independent system. Customers will have multiple external systems. We need to get the data from the systems, and they have to send the data from this SAP system. So we brought in the integration aspects also. So we brought industry flavor, we brought localization flavor, we brought integrations, and we brought all these concepts into this. Still, this is not complete. Why? Because the changes that has happened in the recent past 15 years, where the world is drastically changing towards the AI concepts. Today, we are using AI for multiple purposes, and AI is doing the training on various data available across systems. Like Sir was saying, some of the people are using AI and getting them trained on the Wikipedia data, which again, he spoke about that bias or discrimination and all those things. But think about an SAP system which has so much of data, rich content, which you have spent for so many years, and you have the data with you. And this data is such a wealthful assets for you, which will provide you so much of insights, because you have already put so much of efforts in building this data over the period of years. And this is a wealth for the customers. And we are not using the data to that extent, and today if you have to take some decisions for an opportunity that comes or for a challenge that we need to face, data is with us. And we have already done this in the systems, and this is already sitting with you over the period of years, right? So I have to use this data effectively in a meaningful manner so that I get complete insights about my data and how I have to take my decisions in a smarter way. And this smarter insights will enable me to get and grab all the opportunities for the upliftment of the business that I am doing in. This is the concept SAP identified, And this concept was taken as the nucleus about which this entire hierarchy was built for business suite. So what we have done is, from the transactional systems, we have extended this entire layer to the transformational insights, and we have also extended this layer from AI perspective. Because we have this data can be comprehensively extended into the layer of transformational insights. Earlier, we used to have some analytics layer. We used to have a business warehouse. We used to have something called as business objects intelligence tools. But that was not comprehensive to give me the insights as and when I require. And they were not infused with AI-based recommendations. They are working as a standalone solutions, right? Today, what we have done is we have completely synchronized these entire 3 layers. I do my transactions in the transactional systems, which is so much matured now over the period of 50 years. And this data will automatically get synchronized with my transformational insights. And this will be available as a complete comprehensive tool to give insights to the entire management of the organization. And these decisions will be influenced by the AI tool on top of it. So combining all these 3 concepts together, SAP has come out and coined this solution called as SAP Business Suite solution. So today's concept, Business Suite is not just the transactional processes what we do, but the processes combined with the key insights that is being provided by your transformational insights provided by your analytics layer, supported by AI. Yeah? So all these 3 things were completely clubbed together, and it is a fashion now to have a conversational pilot, co-pilot, right? Whenever we do any transaction in a mobile phone, we have we have Siri, and Microsoft we have a co-pilot. But in SAP system also, it is very essential because we touch base this system and we have doing transactions with this system in such a great manner. We need to have a proper co-pilot which will provide as a comprehensive UI for doing all my transactions in the system, for conversing with the AI so that I can get the insights from the system. So we have brought something called as co-pilot from SAP side also. Extending this entire logic, this is the architecture of SAP Business Suite. We have the SAP application layer, which is called as the unparalleled applications. We have brought something called as Business Data Cloud, which provides you various kinds of analysis and inputs and insights that organizations will provide. And the AI layer. Again, the AI layer, he spoke about various agentic concepts within AI. So we have each and every functional module in SAP, and we will have these agentic solutions in SAP also, like a finance agent, procurement agent, maintenance agent, and these agents will converse with each other. And finally, you can converse with the system using the SAP Jewel solution. You can talk to the system, you can ask the system, you can do transactions with the system using this layer. So this is the concept of SAP Business Suite. Yeah? Going forward, as I said, when we introduce Rise with SAP, now we are saying Business Suite is the destination for all customers. So for net new customers, we have Grow with SAP. And for install-based customers who are working already on SAP existing solutions, Rise with SAP will be the way forward. But ultimate destination for all these customers is SAP Business Suite. This is the recommendation way forward, and this is how the entire SAP will work with the customers into this particular angle so that all the customers will get complete benefits of the latest technology from BDC perspective and from the business AI perspective. So the ultimate sunshine architecture that comes out of Business Suite is the cloud ERP, which has extended arms on various solutions: financial, spend, supply chain, human capital, customer experience. As I said, Business Data Cloud is our nucleus, supported by Business Technology Platform, and all the flavors, whatever we spoke about, industry-specific, sustainable concepts, ecosystem of solutions, and completely supported by the AI infused architecture on the top of it. These are Sunshine architecture. And for today's solution is on predominantly on HR. Gaurav will be joining us. He will take us through this HR Connect related aspects completely from CHRO perspective. He will cover, I will not be getting into all these solutions. He will talk about this in detail. He has a excellent content that he wants to present.
Said I'm all about
And
it.
that is all from my
I'm all
side.
about it. Said I'm all about it. Yeah, 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 yeah. Said I'm all about it. Yeah, I'm all about it. Said I'm all about it. Yeah, I'm all about it. Said I'm all about it. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, wound up, step out of the way. Louder, get better with age. What can I say? Ooh, let me see you move your body, see you shake, you make 'em turn it up and drop. Ooh, let me see you get it started, see you working up a sweat. I'm all about it. I'm all about it. I'm all about it. I'm all about it. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Thanks a lot, boss.